They're permanent. It says permanent. And they're fabric markers. And so they can be used for a lot of different things. These are under $20. They're like 17, I think, in tax. And there's a whole bunch of them in there. Let's see. I'm gonna pull these three and see what happens. So I've got kind of a peachy. I've got a red and like an orange. So you got this tip here. I think it opens on two sides. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does it. But anyway. So I've got these booties. These are Justin's. The little fringy dude. And I've already washed them with saddle soap. And I've got some spots on here. There's a little scuff there. I'm going to try the old showgirl fix it up quick thing. The girls used to use baby wipes. It was so funny. On their white patent leather boots. Get those at Walmart for like $1 or something. You gotta be real careful with leather and dyes because you take the finish off, and unless you have the dye to re-dye it, you've got serious problems. So you gotta be really, really, really careful. And you can go as far as using alcohol or acetone, but again, you've got to be so careful. I'm gonna see if I can get just a little bit of these scuffs off. Like I say, I've already saddle soaped it. And a lot of this can come off probably when I condition it. So far, the pink's not coming off of it. May have to work this part later. It's taking a little bit of it off. You gotta be real careful on leather, especially this finish is real shiny. But these boots are super dry. These were real popular in Oklahoma. Everybody had these. There was some girl I knew that had every color of these things. I think they're like Justin Ropers or something. She had baby blue, she had pink, she had purple. And I was like, okay. But that was just her thing. That's all she wore. Was these little ropery boots. They're leather boots, so leather and leather sole. I hate to get acetone. So a lot of times these are clear coated over the top after they dye them. And I don't like to strip that clear coat off. Even though I got all kinds of magic to fix it with, but try a little baby wipe here. We're getting a little bit of this off. Let me see what's going on here. This almost looks like paint right here. I think that's a scuff though. Let's see where we're at here. I worked for Leatherbound LTD in the Valley back in California, and I learned so much. I was underage back then. I was under 21. And I was working like 3 jobs. I worked at one of the shoe stores in the mall, and then I was working at the a hot house, and their shirts said hot nuts on them. They were so funny. When I was with Bill West, I got him. His name was Peanuts, with his competition name in. And I got him one of those shirts that said hot nuts on it. And he's like, I don't want to wear that. I said, I think it's cute because your name is Peanuts. He's like, I don't want to wear that. So it is getting some of this scuffs off. I think I get a lot more off with the conditioner because I hate to do a lot of abrasive stuff to it. before I get some oil into this leather, because it sure needs it. Now, I've also got a leather repair kit. God knows how many of these things I've got. I did have a big antique shoe buffing wood thing for years that I think was stolen in the storages out in Bama. And that's the string from the sewing of the sole. And I had every color of dye and paste and all this stuff. But my favorite thing is my Picard, and I've got a big giant bucket of it that ordered direct from the manufacturer. I absolutely love Picard. That's like the one-step thing, just for everything. I absolutely adore it. And I can't find it. It's in a box somewhere in their storages. And I've got to get these shoes and boots done so I can list them, because I'm not making any money sitting here. But the better condition they are, the more money you can get from them. These will go for probably about $100. No joke. 80 to 100 for some used boots. But like I said, I've always saddle soaped them. And with saddle soap, all you do is lather it up like soap for your hands and wipe it on there real gently in circles, and then wipe the excess off and let it dry on there. You don't even have to rinse it. But then you've got to condition the leather because it's so dry after you washed it with that stuff. I hate to fool with this too much because it's going to take the color off these boots as they're just so darn dry. And the less you can damage the color, the better off you're going to be, because it may be hard to match. I mean, they'll buy them. You know, used, distressed, abused is a big seller now. Me, I like my stuff absolutely perfect. If it's not perfect, I don't want to wear it. If it doesn't look brand new, I don't want to wear it. These new styles, it's like when I was a kid, if you got one hole in your pants, you know, it was garbage. You throw them in the trash because you'd be looking like a bum. Now today, it's like they put holes in this stuff and rip it up and do all kinds of stuff. I knew a guy years ago, just shortly after I got that job offer, I guess, at Jag Jeans. And then some years later, and I didn't want the job at Jag Jeans because it's like everybody did every kind of jeans there was. It was just like, what else are you going to invent, right? I wanted to be the famous fashion designer in Mahogany, the movie. And so I was like, there's nothing else to design. I wouldn't have a job because there would be nothing else to make a new cool idea in jeans. Jeans are just not my favorite thing. They were when they were fun. When they were tie-dye, rainbow, tie-dye, regular window pane jeans. Zip up the sides, zip up the front, lace up the front, lace up the sides. All that cool fun stuff. With the handkerchiefs sounding the sides like Michael Jackson to make them in bell bottoms. Didn't have to worry. If you wanted to be in style and have bell bottoms, you just cut the side open to the knee and you put a bandana in there. Pick your color. But so years later, you know, downtown LA in California, it got really covered with the homeless, the bums sleeping in the boxes, and it was creepy, and the shelters were overwhelmed, and these people were just literally sleeping on the streets in front of storefronts, which it was mostly industrial and the LA County Jail. They'll never say you're from LA because that's a dive. I hear people do that all the time. We went to LA. We went to Santa Monica. No, it's LA County covers 3/4 of the state. Don't tell people that you went to LA. Tell them you went to Santa Monica. LA is a dive. Dangerous, nasty dive. It was all full of industrial. So nothing was going on at night in those streets. Um, there's no like stores to go to, nothing, because it was all factories. And so the homeless and the thieves and everything hung out down there, and it was all the way live all night long. And it's a very dangerous place to be. I used to go downtown to do some major shopping and get stuff at wholesale and stuff because I knew who to go to. But you have to really watch your back, man. So anyway, some more of this is coming out a little bit. So anyway, the bums, they had the jeans and they were ripped up, torn up, and dirty shirts, and sleeping in cardboard boxes next to the businesses. And then the police would go down and tell them to clean up their boxes so that the town could do business. And this is downtown Los Angeles, L.A. And so it was horrible. So this guy gets this bright idea, and this is back when, like, oh gosh, the early 2000s, and on eBay, like jeans, American jeans, if you sold to Europe, you could sell them for $100, $200 a pair. You can sell them for even more back then, used, even more, if they were like this guy started doing with the jeans. So this guy was selling these nasty trash up jeans. I said, it looks like the homeless in downtown LA. I said, why? He said, geez, you know how many of these I sell? I was like, how many? And he's like, oh, I just sell them to Europe for tons of money. Da, 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 da. They love them. I said, he was allowed to look like the downtown LA homeless. I mean, really. And so he was like, no, it's really good. And I said, well, I mean, are you buying them in downtown LA? Because these look like hell. They were ripped up, snagged up, trashed up. They were gross, dirty jeans. I can't stand dirty looking jeans. Looks like you never washed them. You've been wearing them for like a year, and you think that the dirt is worth gold, right? Worth its weight in gold. Ugh. There's people like that. Now it's spray paint. They take splatter paint with a paintbrush, splatter the jeans up, sell them for $250. It's like, are you kidding? You can buy those off a guy that paints houses every day for way cheaper than that. But anyway, but it's a style. It is a style now. It's so funny. So anyway, he takes these jeans and he buys them new. He hooks them up to chains and he drags them all over and out in, like San Bernardino and out in the country, over fences, everything. Barbed wire fences, over the rocks, in the dirt, and just drags them around behind a horse, and then he sells them. And it's like, you do what? He's like, just ride around all day and put them on chains and drag them behind me. I'm like, oh my gosh. And this guy's selling these things in the hundreds of dollars in hand over fist. I was like, no. But yeah, it's a thing. So anyway, let's see. How come the red is missing the tip? This is the one I need the most. There's no tip in this sucker. Why on earth? Let me see if there's another one here. No, this doesn't come apart. Man, I just bought this set. Ugh. There's a tip in that one. There's a tip in that one. This is either defective or somebody's kid was playing in it. It kind of looks like there was never a tip put in it. Oh, that makes me mad because I needed the red. Jeez. That's disgusting. I really don't want orange in there. Man. I needed the red. I swear there's nothing in there. Jeez. Well, I have to take those back. I didn't even get to use them. I gotta find a set that has the tip in it. What does this one do? This one is brown. I don't want to do that. But I'm gonna have to take this back, this set, because this is no good. Oh. Thank you for the thumbs up. Oh, what a royal bummer. I guess we'll have to do it the other way. So, don't know if I do. Yes, I do. I'm going to use this permanent marker, and I sure wanted to try those new markers. And another option is fabric paint that's in the bottles. That's another option, because these you get them shiny, and if you can mix a good match. Other than that, the leather and vinyl repair kit from Walmart, and this has red in it. You probably can't see it in there. And that leather repair and vinyl kit is about $12 at Walmart. Man. So, or a red permanent marker. I have to dot it on there because I don't know if it's going to be the wrong exact color. Let's see what we come up with. That's raw leather there. Well, hey, Paranormal Gaming. Wayne, what's going on? How you doing, friend? This is not bad. Let's put this down so we don't scratch this leather up. I'm not wearing my big pinky diamond ring because I don't like it, because it's not perfect now, because I've lost a diamond out of it. It's going to be about $300 to buy another diamond, the exact shape to go in that ring. It's got a whole bunch of them in it, but I'm missing one from produce. When I was doing the produce manager job at the grocery store, and when I got off work, I saw my ring, and I had to look at it like 5 times, going, no, I didn't lose the diamond. And then the next few days I worked, I had to, I was trying to look and see. I may have washed it down the sink, washing my hands, who knows. But it may have ended up in one of the boxes I was stocking. But it's going to cost about $300 for one that size and that shape. And then I have to pay them to set it. So I'm afraid to wear it anymore because I'm afraid more will fall out. And I'm not a pro on setting jewelry and stuff. This looks more like paint than anything else right there. So I really want to take it to a good jeweler, and there's one in Dustin that I can take it to. 2 of them refused it because it's an antique ring. And it was my grandmother's. My dad ended up with it, and then my baby sister stole it, and then She showed up with it years later to me and said, "Do you want this? Because we don't want it." And I was like, "Is this even real?" She's like, "Yeah, that was grandma's." And I'm like, "Well, all her stuff was fake." And she's like, "No, it wasn't." I'm like, "All that stuff she wore was real." She wore so much gold. She would like wear like 15 bracelets and all this stuff and brooches and things. And so I always thought it was fake, but apparently it was not. Every bit of it was solid gold. A lot of it was stolen in the nursing homes after they handled her. After she stayed at my house was the last place she stayed because I told my dad I would take care of her and she could live with me and don't put her in a nursing home. It'll kill her. And he's like, "Okay, well, I'll pay you." And, honestly, I don't think he ever did pay me. No offense, Daddy, but I don't think he ever paid me. He was kind of famous for stuff like that. He'd tell you something and he'd forget. And you had to kind of remind him. And, but I had a very, very nice house in Hawthorne, I guess it was. And I took her in, and I hated this woman more than life. And we got to be really good friends. She was very educational. She did genealogy and had a famous doll collection and all that. And she was a famous genealogist, and she would talk about all these different families and where they came from. I mean, she knew all the stuff in her head, and it was just amazing. And so she was very interesting to visit with. So it was quite enchanting having her there, but she kind of got kind of kooky in the end, and I almost ended up in jail over her. I had come home from work one day, and the police were all over outside of my house, and I had just pulled up, and they were like, "Is this your house?" I'm like, "Yes, I rent it." And they're like, "Do you know this old woman in your house?" I'm like, "Yes, that's my grandmother, and she lives with me." And they were like all concerned, and I got scared, and I called Daddy, and I was like, "I don't know what's going on, but the police are all over my house." And so they wanted to talk to him, and he said, "Oh, let me talk to them and all that." And I guess what had happened was she had opened the door, and I had a full secure house. And so there was like wrought iron on the windows and the door and stuff. And I guess she had opened the door at one point and was yelling, "Help, help, let me out." And I was working day shift back then. And right down the street. And I guess I almost ended up in jail over that. My dad ended up having to come get her. Nothing, the police didn't do anything to me. And I felt so sad because I knew that she would end up dying in a nursing home because he just didn't have time to babysit her because his businesses were really booming then. And he just didn't have time. He felt she needed professional supervision. And the unfortunate thing is she went there with all her jewelry, and every bit of it got stolen except for, I guess, that one piece that my daddy got. And he used to look at it all the time to look at. Stolen? And it was hidden away for years, and then it was offered to me. And I mean, I was like, "Really? This can't even be real." And she was like, "Oh, yes, it is." And I'm like, "No way." And so I ended up with it because nobody wanted it. Now, grant you, it's worth a huge amount of money if I were to sell it intact. I pulled the stone out of it in the meantime because I hate it. I love the way opals look, and it's got like a big fire opal in it. But they make me mad. I had 3 rings with opals in it years ago that I bought when I was selling in Beverly Hills, and they would break. And when I was living with Mom Layton, who was like my second mom, no one will ever replace my real mom. That's of course. She said, "Oh, it's because you got to take them off when you wash your hands. Opals don't like water." I'm like, "Well, who's going to buy jewelry that you got to take off and wash your hands with? You know, turquoise, you wash your hands. You know, silver, you wash your hands. I mean, that's just dumb. And if you wear your gold in the ocean in the salt water, it cleans the gold. So why would you have jewelry you've got to take off?" So, um, and especially in my old drinking days, who's going to take jewelry off? You get so lit. By the time you get home, you aren't doing nothing but going nighty night night. And so you just leave all your stuff on. It'll still be there in the morning. but I quit drinking years and years ago when I had kids. I was never supposed to have kids. Yeah, and so I hated them because all those rings they broke. Those stones would just shatter. And I said, no more. And so I talked to a jeweler a few years ago, and I was like, I hate the stone in this ring. I was thinking of making a pendant, a big pendant in gold for my baby sister, so she could have half a thing there and everything. And she was like, no, I don't want that. So I was gonna set a pendant with that big giant piece of fire opal, whatever it is. And uh, she didn't want it. So it was actually kind of a joke at first. My daughter and I used to call it the ring of fire, and so it was okay like that. It was looked weird at first, but then it was kind of neat, and people would comment about it. And so I've got a stone that I ordered for it to match my old necklace I had for years that disappeared. I kind of have a funny feeling today that Stacy's daddy, Sibyl, stole it. I have a funny feeling years ago today that I really didn't lose it, that I think he stole it right off my neck when I was asleep. Um, and that was an irreplaceable piece. Bill West gave me that piece. It's gorgeous. But anyway, size of $50. Anyway, so I ordered like 4 or 5 different stones to try to get something like I had before in my necklace. And then I turned around and I was ordering the slightly oval ones a couple years ago to see if I could fit them in that ring and just do it myself kind of thing. And I kind of like attempted it, but I didn't fully do it because it's gold and it's really delicate and it's really, really old, like 1800s, I guess. So I took it to a couple jewelers to see if they would set that stone, and they were like real hesitant to touch it because uh, it was so old. They're like, I don't think we want to work on that. But there's apparently one guy in Destin that will. I really want to go to the guy that's out by Chipley because he can stand right over him when he's working on it. Even though it's a terrible thing to do, but I would like to be like watching it because it has so many diamonds in it. My mother had her wedding ring all switched out by a pawn shop years ago where they stole the diamonds. She swore they switched every one of the diamonds out in her wedding ring my dad bought her. And she was furious about it. And they probably did. So I would freak out if they would do that to that ring. So that one guy I talked to about the opals, he goes, "Oh, I hate them." I'm like, "You want to buy it?" He was telling me what that opal's worth. I haven't been able to find it lately. Somebody that lived with me may have stole that. I don't know. I hope I find it soon. But that opal's supposed to be worth about 7,000 out of that ring by itself. But and I really hesitate to sell it because I really want to keep it all together. But I really don't want it in the ring because it will just get destroyed. So I'm gonna put that other stone in there, and I guess I have to just keep that other one if I can find it again. So Yeah. So I haven't been wearing my big giant diamond pinky ring because it's got a stone out of it, and I need to replace it. I just think it looks terrible. I'm afraid I'll lose some other ones. I think it all needs to be tightened up by a real jeweler, and not me because I don't know how to do that. I would have always loved to made jewelry, like casted it and stuff, and gold and silver, but I never learned how to do that. I know how to do everything else in the world, but that would all that would be a neat thing to learn. So anyway, here's what we're gonna do. We just touched that up with a really weak red permanent marker. I still do have this paint. This is fabric paint, and I have the leather and vinyl repair kit. It's so darn dry. I want to try to condition it first before handling it too much more. And I'm afraid to put alcohol or acetone on this to clean it anymore. I mean, I would like it to be perfect, but it may never be. Who knows? I just don't want to ruin the red finish because it's so hard to duplicate these finishes, unless you're like a real shoemaker. Uh, so I'm gonna come back in another vlog, and we're gonna use some conditioning treatments. Not my total favorites because I can't buy them at Picard. My Picard's the one-step go-to for real. But hang out. I'm gonna do another one right here, and I'll be right back. I love you guys. So I have to take these back to Walmart because the one I needed the most is missing the tip. I can't even believe it. What a royal bummer. Almost $20 for that set. Jeez. All right, you guys. See you in the next one. Love you. Thanks for the thumbs up.